Welcome back. You're listening to Home Wizards, where we love to help improve your home and improve your life. I'm Cindy Dole.
I'm Eric Stromer.
Are you having fun looking at all these cool things?
You know what? I'm so excited to come into this convention center hall and see such amazing design and the fact that this architecture style and sensibility is honored in such a great way. And just the space that it's in almost feels open enough to really understand what's going on here.
So here, for those of you who aren't here, we are at the Dwell on Design event here in Los Angeles. It is an annual tradition, and we love being here because it really assembles all these different cool looks and feels that have a single thread of commonality, and that is, I think, design for the soul. I think that's how I'd summarize it. It's something that's going to be beautiful, it's going to make you feel good, it's going to be great for the environment, and it's what Dwell Magazine is all about.
That's right.
And so with us is Michela O'Connor Abrams with Dwell. So thanks for being here.
Thank you very much.
And are you loving the Dwell on Design this year?
Oh, I'm a little bit biased, I guess. But this is the best yet. It is 225,000 square feet of incredible design and ideas and content, and I don't know how you could walk through the doors and not be surprised and delighted with every step.
When I walk around, and for people who are listening and aren't able to be here, share for folks, Dwell Magazine is about some very focused things. The people who are here, it seems to be a wide range of demographics. There seems to be a wide range of age groups and different economic backgrounds and different parts of the world, and it seems that this whole modern thing is huge.
It is. So the beauty of modern design is that it's really a philosophy of living rather than about the aesthetics just. Of course, the beauty of it is a piece, but the innovation, the intention, the authenticity, all those other basic characteristics of modern are really come to life here. So no surprise then that it's really exciting to people who are coming out of college, not necessarily even with a design background, but who love design, and design has become a part of their life and everything that they do. All the way to people who are retired, for whom design, frankly, becomes even more important because they're thinking about the way that they live and the spaces and the materials, and are they downsizing? If they are, how so? Do they have 3 or more homes around the country or around the world? And what do they do when their choices have to be more considered in terms of their mobility? And so we discuss all those things in the content stages, and they're able to be in the design textile labs or in modern lifestyle and experience all those things. So it's more of a psychographic that you find.
It's a thoughtfulness, right?
It is. It's a thoughtfulness. It's all these people self-identify, interestingly enough, because we did this study 3-4 years ago, that they call themselves design seekers, and which simply really means that they seek good design in everything that they do. The way they travel, how they travel, the cars they drive,
the way they eat,
the way they the clothes they put on, the homes they live in, how they live in the homes they do, how important the outside is, no matter where they are in the world. And so all of those basic facets of design are discussed right here on the show floor in real living color.
And to your point, I love that idea of the philosophy of design, because I think generally people honor architecture and design from the outside in. You get into a space and you go, oh wait, we need throw pillows and it should be red here, and then maybe we'll add this couch. But with this modern design sensibility, like you said, it starts with the individual from the inside out, and it is a philosophy, and then everything sort of is a manifestation from there.
I was listening to someone earlier who I was just eavesdropping, okay, I admit it. And I was at Dwell Outdoor, and I was listening to a couple, I don't know, so I'm a bad judge of this, but I'm guessing they're in their 40s, and they're talking about the fact that if they bought one of the homes they were standing in front of the Sustain home, they said, it would be great because how we love to have the sun shine on us first thing in the morning as we get out of bed and have our first cup of coffee, and Joey has his cereal, and this is the kind of feeling I want to have. They weren't talking about the color of the room, the size of the chair, the size of the shape of the table. It was, how is that home going to make them feel in the way they live? And it expresses their authenticity. Exactly. And so again, aesthetics isn't a sideshow here. It is important, but when you listen to the way they interact with design, it really is about how it makes them feel.
It's almost like a religion is what it is. I mean,
It is.
it is. I mean, not to sound sacrilegious, but I mean,
Right.
it is, you have followers. I mean, there is like, it is a way of life.
Right.
And I love how it has a touch point with different age groups, for whatever reason, what they're experiencing, how they want to live.
Absolutely. And let me also say that, the word modern is charged in all kinds of ways, right?
Right.
Positive and negative. It depends on who you are. And some people are like, oh, modern, those are the people that came along and tore down the old things that were really great and
Right.
built some new fandangled thing.
Fandangle.
And okay, so I'm sure that happened. But that's why what we really are trying to show here is that it's really how you live. So if you have a 17th century breakfront as part of what your family left you, right? That's modern.
Yeah, and the
That's still modern.
eclectic aspect is really obvious and apparent. And also when you have this template that's really neutral, all that stuff shows off so much more. I think artwork shows more effectively.
Right.
There's a reason that museums are sort of stark and not so cluttered with things.
Right.
Because you focus in on the individual aspects of your home.
Absolutely.
So I love it.
And a much like the Frank Gehry designs, I mean, in terms of early California, of enjoying the outside and bringing that in. I mean, we are so lucky in California to be able to experience that. And
Right.
so that's modern, right?
It is. I mean, in fact, I think two basic tenets. Modernism always says, that architecture begins when people interact with it, number one. Number two is that to really be modern is to respect the land on which your house sits, how it sits there, how it respects the place. Have you taken advantage of everything on that particular lot and been able to place the home in the way that was meant to be? Not just because it, the kind of stuff we were doing in the 60s, it wasn't all bad, but there was a lot that wasn't very good, right? Because we were just trying to supply some new modern housing and technology, but with
Wasteful.
very little regard
Yeah.
for place. And just thought, here's a land, mow it down and stick a house
and
down.
everything must be square to
That's
the lot
right.
line. It cannot
Yeah.
be turned at all. I mean, there was that sensibility for so many years, and now we see that it's an explosion of how that house lives on the property and orients to the sun, like you were talking about before. And
Right.
these are huge considerations that I think this kind of architecture gives you the ability to do much more freely.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
Fleetwood is one of our exhibitors, and they're all about making sure that the window wall systems are ones that completely pull away so that the outdoors is inside.
Right.
Right? So that your whole home is really your entire property.
Yeah, and then also thinking about how the sun rises and sets and when it wants to be cool and when it wants to be hot, when you want to use the sun to your advantage, and then when you want to kind of shade yourself from the heat of the day. So those ideas and understandings of how to design your home, I think, makes such a huge difference when it comes to architecture and how you feel in the space.
So,
Absolutely.
Michaela, talk about also this cradle-to-cradle concept, which is also very hip and important because it's thinking about, in a very thoughtful way, like you say, how your home is impacting everything from
Right.
your generation to the next.
Absolutely. So the idea, and this is also why sustainability has the gravitas, and green really became more of a marketing term, and for some people even more pejorative because it was the greenwashing. So sustainability and the cradle to cradle is literally about being able to respect the origin of the product all the way until the product is no longer viable. And the creation of that cycle for all new products is one that has to be taken into consideration, that even if you were to build something out of all recycled materials, it may not last, right? But if you have something that was built and perhaps it used resources that we don't think of as green, but it lasts generations, that it's going to be here for way longer than we're alive, then that's a far better sustainable resource.
Right.
And that is the whole concept of cradle to cradle. It's really understanding the beginning all the way to the end and where it is, and knowing that not everything in cradle to cradle do we create now. Much of it was created a long time ago, and it's our responsibility to make it appropriate for this century and really respect its place.
So for people who are listening and they're thinking, gosh, I didn't think I was modern, but Guy, I'm hearing this and maybe I'm modern.
Right.
It's like redefining modern. What are some easy ways that people can kind of adjust their brain to think that, you can be modern. It's okay.
Right.
So they might have the wrong perception.
Exactly. I think the first thing is to cleanse your mind of the aesthetic attribution that any one person puts on modern, right? And to make sure that they understand it is not. Put the aesthetics aside
It's
for a
not a
moment.
look. Okay.
Right, not a look. It's not about mid-century. It's not about Schindler, Eichler, Neutral, Lautner. It is about an architecture appropriate for our time. And our founder says it best. She said, we owe it to ourselves as a culture to have an architecture for our time. That's modern. And that means if you have a 1924 Mediterranean, respect that. But inside, don't recreate it as if it were 1924 again. Make it the place that expresses your authenticity and that is appropriate for the availability of the materials and the resources we have today. That is modern, plain and simple.
That's pretty much everybody.
That is.
You
It
know?
really is. Everybody gets to be modern.
Tell everybody that the website is simply dwell.com.
It is dwell.com for this. It's dwellondesign.com.
Right.
To come and join us for this festival of ideas.
All right. Thank you, Michela. Loved talking to you and realizing that really it's easy to be modern, and once you just kind of cleanse your head.
It is.
You know?
It is. It's, easy to be green. It's easy to be modern. Easier to be modern.
Yeah. All right. Well, coming up, we have more fun things to talk about. Wait till you hear about these garage doors.
Yeah, with the
With
glass or the opaque glass.
And
yeah.
it has this history that dates back to the gas stations.
That's amazing. And it lets light into the garage where you never had it before.
So when you're working in your garage, you're going to feel
I don't have to turn on
like
the
you're in a
lights.
studio.
See, I'm already now I'm modern again. Here I go. It's like a virus.
Yeah, well, anyway, we're going to talk about that and more of our great finds here at the Dwell on Design event in Los Angeles. Eric Stormer, Cindy Dole, this is what we do to help improve your home and improve your life. Home Wizards continues after this.